Alex, you know what you did. We're going to talk about it publicly. Look, I'm going to be the first to say it. I don't think you did anything wrong. It's not about whether or not you did anything wrong.
It's clearly not true the way that you're talking about it.
You're doing what you got to do to win. From a pure football standpoint, I understand it. It's the fact that you refuse to admit that it makes you less of a man and that it shrinks your balls that really just gets me all wound up. I mean, look, we've been friends for how long, Alex? We've been friends for how long?
You want to? We've been friends for at this
15 years.
15
we've been friends for. The fact that you still don't have the balls to even just make it a game, like you can't even take that risk. I mean, come on. There's nothing wrong with what you did. It's the fact that you said, hold my defense, fuck my balls, instead of being like, hey, you know what? I think I'm just going to pull the defense and win this game. I would have been like, all right, cool. If you were like, hey, I know this is lame. I have to pull the defense. I got no other choice. I get it. It's the fact that you went like, suck my balls. This is a power move. It's not a power move. It doesn't make you a man. It makes you lame. I get it. Some people are lame. That's fine. You want to win. That's fine. Suck my balls really, really threw me off. That's what got me so hot.
And
I got to say,
look,
I'm going to put the hand up here. I was in the minority of people. A lot of scumbags out there. A lot of scumbags. More than honest men. But at the end of the day, I was in the minority.
Go.
And I understand your reasoning, but it does make you less of a man. And all I want to see is a hand, and we'll move on.
Hey, here's the hand. Here's the hand up for the taunting. Now, that being said, I think that pulling the defense when they're playing on a Monday night game means that your team needed to show up on Sunday, not my team needs to show up on Monday. Right? It's like resting your starters in the 81st game of the season, right? When you've already set your record, when you're already in the playoffs. It's like week 17. You're resting your starters. I want Pittsburgh's defense to play next week. I need them to play next week. I don't even want to play this week. I've secured my position in the Final Four.
I think what frustrated me also
through my managerial decisions
was that you picked up the Steelers. You have a defense on your bench, a good one too. It's the Niners. You picked up the Steelers defense just for this week and then benched them. That's a scumbag move.
That's pretty bad.
You didn't even bench him.
That's
you
pretty
just cut
bad.
him. You could have benched him. You just cut them from your team.
Because
you picked him up for only this
Patrick
week.
Mahomes tore his ACL. I couldn't cut him. Patrick Mahomes is going to sit on my IR list while we win the championship, all right? Like, we're taking him to the chip, so I couldn't drop anyone else. He was the only guy on my team that wasn't, like, an active piece of the roster was the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and I was like, well, looks like we're cutting them.
Look, I get it, but all I want to see is hey, that was kind of a scumbag move, but if you own it, then it's fine.
It was kind of a scumbag move.
I'm
owning it. I'm owning it.
You put the hand up, and that's all I needed to hear. It was just the suck my balls that made me a little, I was like, hey, fuck you, buddy. I mean, come on. Starting quarterback went down last week. You got hit with the bug, too, so karma's a bitch, isn't it, Alex?
I did. I know. I gotta play with Jordan Love this week or hit the waiver wire, which I don't love. Maybe I'll pick up, like, Jackson Dart or something. Gardner Minshew's available.
That'd be a fun pick.
Mr. Playboy.
Also, I thought it would have been funny
Mr.
if I could have convinced you to like pick up the Dolphins defense, because I think they might have given up
defense and put him in. Yeah,
I think they might have given up -5 points.
Let's fact check that. Really quickly. How bad did the Dolphins defense?
I texted Alex and I was like, if you're a man, you're going to pick up the Dolphins defense right now because they obviously aren't on a team in our league.
28-15 was the score, right?
He beat me by 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
They scored 2 fantasy points, so it wouldn't have mattered. I mean,
wouldn't have
but
mattered.
Yeah.
It was fun to bitch about when it could have mattered.
Was not worth the reward.
Yeah.
I mean, if Devon Achane went out and just absolutely waffle stomped the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, like that would have been a really big problem. But yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing this up. I probably won't learn from my mistakes. If I'm winning again this week and I have my defense last, I'm probably going to bench him. I'm assuming Kush would do the same thing, who I'm playing this weekend. Also voted to be a scumbag on our poll, I'm pretty sure. So
no, he was heavy on the team of Alex is in the right. And actually, I would like to apologize. I made some I made some brash comments about his military status when we were texting about it.
A lot of scumbags out there. Tyler Richardson's a scumbag. I know that. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about, what happened in the NFL this weekend. I think the first thing that you have to talk about is the game that we were all watching at 1:00. Aside from me, because I was at my girlfriend's house watching the Bears, and that's the only game that they're allowed to have on during the 1:00 slate. So I kept kind of just like checking the ESPN notifications to see what the hell was going on. The Patriots blew a 21-point lead to the Bills. What does this mean for the Patriots going forward?
This is one of those losses where it was like so painful to watch that I haven't even thought about it. I haven't even looked at it since, because every time I get pissed off. I mean, what do you want me to do? First of all, spent all day moving out of my apartment. Didn't get a chance to like sit down and watch the game. Was watching it on my phone like this while I was moving boxes around. So that's not fun at all. And then like the vibes were so high. Obviously you get the third touchdown to go up 21-0, and then they instantly come back and score 7. Going into the half 21-7, things were still feeling very good. You felt like that was a game that the Patriots should have been able to stick out, and they instantly give up 5 straight touchdown possessions. That is so abhorrently negative that you can't really pull any positives from this game. You put up 31 points on the Bills. That's awesome. So your offense is still good, but it proved that you can't stop a good offense. I mean, I don't know how else you're supposed to feel besides disappointed in this team. The only positive I will say is Drake May blocking 65 yards downfield for TreVeyon Henderson.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you are happy with the direction that TreVeyon Henderson is going, right? Like, he is clearly your lead back at this point. If you want to do like a Sonic and Knuckles type of thing with him and with Ramondre Stevenson as maybe your power back, I guess you could justify giving Ramondre some red zone snaps, but TreVeyon's your guy, right? Like, he's the guy that can break off a big carry, and we haven't really had a running back that looks like this in a really long time in New England. I can't think of the last running back that had like 250-yard games in a season, like maybe, I don't know, like Garrett Blount. Or someone like that. And that was like definitely in the 2010s. Garrett Blount, yeah. So like moving on, I mean, Drake May didn't have his best game. Obviously, he had a really good first half with the 2 rushing touchdowns, but he didn't have to throw all that much because, again, the ground game was so dominant. But this is also what the Buffalo Bills do. Yeah. Like, you have to understand that this team is one that's just like, they're never put away, right? Like, when they were up 14-0, Jack was texting me and he was like, I'm super excited. Like, this is great. Like, we're going to win against the Bills. And I was like, well, hold on now. Like, this is what they do. They completely, like, they disappoint, and then Josh Allen somehow finds some magic and they score a bunch of touchdowns at the end of the game and they win the game. I don't really want to hear about the officiating all that much. There were some questionable calls at the end there, but at the same time, you can't blow a 21-point lead. And I feel like that comes down to the play calling more so than your defense, who didn't do a fantastic job at keeping them out of the end zone. But you also can't allow a team to score 5 consecutive touchdowns with no response, right? Like, where
could
the
that
offense
possibly
go
be
in the
the
second half?
offense's fault? They put up 31 points. That's not the offense's fault. They still scored a touchdown in the second half. 31 points should win you any game in the NFL.
You didn't score in the third quarter.
So what? You still put up 31 points. You still gave your team a 21-point buffer. That is enough to win any football game in the NFL. If you are putting up 31 points and you gave up 7 in the first half, there is no excuse to blame that on your offense. I mean, there's just no way. Your offense did their job. Your defense gave up 5 straight touchdowns. It has to be the defense's fault. I see your point, though. I mean, you are right. You are right in a certain extent. The offense let them get momentum. You can't do that with the Bills, but you can't say this is the offense's fault entirely.
I'm from an outsider perspective on this. Like, I think this game shows you why I put the Bills ahead of the Patriots in our contenders ranking last week. The Bills high is like when Josh Allen is clicking, when the defense locks in, like they do every single second half. They have the best point differential for a second half in the second half in the NFL, plus 116, which is pretty freaking impressive. The swing that I thought was so interesting in this game, Y'all are up 21-0. You force them to 3 straight punts to start the game. They don't get anything. They come down, they march down in Bills' way, score a touchdown, and then y'all use all 2 minutes to get a score up. So now it's a 3-score game going into the half. And then it's touchdown Bills, punt Patriots, touchdown Bills, interception. The one that was for Mac Hollins.
It was a solid interception, though. It was a
Yeah,
solid arm
it was a
punt.
solid
Yep.
interception.
We're arm punt positive on this podcast for sure.
We love a good arm punt.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
The Bills come down, march down, 6-minute drive, 91 yards, 13 plays, and the Patriots come and smack them back in the fucking mouth with a 1-play, 65-yard touchdown for Travion. And I was like, okay, that's the game. Like, maybe the Patriots, maybe I was so wrong about this. And maybe this is transitioning the conversation a little bit, but Josh Allen played another great week of football, of kind of carry ball, in my opinion. Is it time to think, is he the front runner? Is he ahead of Drake May now for MVP? I mean,
Wait,
they're
before
winning the
we move
games.
to that conversation, because it is a good conversation, just to wrap up the point about what the Patriots could have done to win that game, I think for me, it's, if you look at how they beat the Bills in the first game, it was the turnover margin, 3-0. If the Patriots got 1 turnover in that game, they win the football game. It's just that simple. 1 turnover wins the football game.
Agreed.
So I think that was
Also,
the biggest thing.
I want to say really quickly before we move on to this point, like you said, to the NFL MVP thing. Rabel came out afterwards and said something about defensive holding or offensive holding, like how the Bills have the number 1 team. They have they're the most penalized team for offensive holding in the league, and there were no calls against them. That's a soft response for losing a 21-point deficit.
Agreed.
It's a soft response.
Especially from a defensive guy.
That's not something that you need to be saying. Correct. Correct. Like, you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, like, we let up 21 points in the second half. This is on us. You know what I mean? Like that. I hated that from him, from a coach that I've actually really liked so far. I mean, he's been fantastic. We'll talk about Coach of the Year stuff a little bit later, but that really rubbed me the wrong way as a fan. Like, I feel like if that's what we're gonna fall back on is the whistle, you know, in a game where it's a divisional game, a game where we need to win to secure our place as the top team in the division. Now you have to win the next 3 weeks, right? Like, that's what you've set up for yourself.
Also, there was
now you have to beat the Ravens at home.
There was well, you don't have to beat the Ravens. You have to. I'll get to that in a second. But there are so many more. I mean, even if you are going to blame it on the whistle, which you shouldn't do, to your point, because I completely agree with that. If you are going to blame it on the whistle, there are so many other huge plays that were impacted by referee calls.
Yeah.
But that's also just the game of football. You will get those calls at some point. You are 11-3. Good teams get calls. That's just how it works. So you can't blame it on the refs, although you can bitch and moan about it and cope with the loss. But I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
What was the point I was just going to make? What were we talking about? I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Ravens. Do they need to win that game?
Yeah. So the Patriots have a 1-game bump on the Bills. If they end the season with the same record, and basically the first tiebreaker is record, second tiebreaker is in division losses. So both the Patriots have 1 loss in the division now to the Bills. The Bills lost to the Patriots and the Dolphins. They got shit pumped by the Dolphins that week. So if we end with the same record and beat the Jets and Dolphins, that's all we have to do. So we could lose to the Ravens. We just have to beat the Jets and Dolphins.
And the Bills still have Eagles. Like, that's not, like, the Eagles might be a little bit of a joke right now.
It's not a gimme.
But
it's not a gimme.
if you're a fan of a football team, at the end of the day, you don't want to say we can lose to the Ravens. That doesn't mean that you beat a good team going into the playoffs. This entire Patriots season has been built on the schedule. And that's been the narrative. If you are looking to make some noise in the playoffs, this week is a must-win against the Ravens, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Penalties and time of possession also impact to go along with the turnover margin that Jack was talking about. I feel like that's what dug y'all in. And those are things that as this roster and this team spends more time together and gets older and moves from rookie year to second year to third year to fourth year, it's only going to get easier and easier. If these are the mistakes and these are the reasons y'all are losing close games, as a fan, you should have so much hope and so much pride. Because as a Cowgirls fan, man, I am so jealous of the football being played in New England.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had told me that we were going to lose 35-31 before the game, I would have been like, that's a pretty good game. But it's just the manner in which it happened. You left being like, that was
the
a step
manner in
back.
which you lost. Yeah, it's the manner in which you lost. Yeah, I would agree from a Cowgirls fan, like it is a tough place to be right now. Obviously you guys disappointed this weekend to say the least, losing to 9. Maybe we jumped the gun on 9 a little bit. We called him a bust like 3 weeks ago.
He's
put up
calling him
3 touchdown games back
We're
to
playing
back.
into his hand. We got to stop calling him that.
This is what he wants.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to just go on a little rant about like how high we were on the Cowboys a few weeks ago to like the lowest of the lows of being a Cowboys fan, because it kind of feels like you guys have just fallen back to earth. And it was never really a Dem Boys year. Like once you traded Micah Parsons, I feel like everybody was like kind of just like, nah, this Cowboys team is going to be fine. Maybe a little bit entertaining, but not that good. And now it's like, oh, well, they're exactly who we thought they were. Aside from like showing some flashes of beating both teams that were in the Super Bowl, one of which is going to miss the playoffs, right? So let's talk a little bit about the Cowboys, just because I like hearing you talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. That's the best thing that you could say to a Cowboys fan. I like hearing you talking about the Cowboys. 2 weeks ago we were looking at this. If you beat the Lions, you beat the Vikings, and then you have Commanders, Giants, and Chargers, you're probably going to lose one of those games. Beat 10-6-1. You hope Philadelphia drops a couple games. Maybe you can take the division. Maybe you sneak into the playoffs, but at least you're ending on a positive note. I don't see a way in which you could spin this. And you know what? I got sucked into this shit. I got sucked into believing. I never believe in this sorry ass football team. And I actually was like sitting here like, wait, I'm so excited for Sunday. I'm excited for primetime football. I'm excited to watch us play. It is so frustrating watching a team beat themselves back-to-back weeks. Like, when I tell you, when I look up, and like, I wasn't even trying to watch the game. I was playing cards with Cam and her family and like having a great time. I look at the screen and I see Jordan Addison with 0 defenders within a 15-yard radius. And 9, all he has to do is, and then he's already walking off the field as Addison's walking into the end zone, or the one where he hands it off and then takes it to himself and does a little gritty into the end zone. Like, as a Cowboys fan, we this is the cycle. It literally is like you have 2 great wins and you feel a little bit of momentum. And maybe the Chiefs one is more on them. The Eagles one was us playing better football than them. Like, I felt so proud of this team. You go to Detroit, you have one mission. Play 1 ounce of defense and your offense can hang in the shootout with the Lions. You don't play any defense, you let up 44 points. Then you're like, okay, let me take my season back into my hands and at least maybe we can finish 10-6-1. And frankly, that's a respectable season from where we started in August with trading Micah to now. You get like 34-26 doesn't show how bad we felt. Like, we couldn't get the ball to Pickens. CD was playing great football. Javonte Williams was playing great football. But frankly, those seem like the only 2 guys in Overshawn who wanted to be out there. And like, it's just, I don't understand how a team can change vibes. Maybe it's just the fans putting too much pressure and or too much expectations on them boys. But like, the vibes on the field change so fast from the Eagles game, Eagles Chiefs swing, like that like 10-day or 7-day period of those 2 games to now.
I've got a question for you about the expectations, because you talked about that, and obviously Alex and I are Patriots fans, and when we were winning in the 2010s, it felt like we were getting all the primetime games. We had 425 slots all the time, and when the Patriots played, people watched. But the Cowboys, since they were very good in the 70s and 90s, they're America's team. So as a Cowboys fan, do you ever feel kind of annoyed that there's that pressure that you have to watch them in Sunday Night Football and you have to watch them in Game of the Week, and they're always in the spotlight of the NFL? Even when they're not that good, you feel pressure as a team to at least be mediocre so you can continue to uphold that reputation. Do you ever get upset as a Cowboys fan that you can't properly do a full rebuild and be an actual football team and you have to be the poster boy of the NFL?
Jack, that is the question. Dude, yes. Because it's infuriating. Like think about this. Like, what is it? 2014, we are one play away from the NFC Championship. And every single Cowboys fan since that moment has hung their head on that. Next season, we are so bad. We go 4-12. We draft Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Tony Romo goes down, and Dak comes in and has the greatest start to a rookie, one of the greatest starts to a rookie season ever. Not throwing an interception for 8 games. Like that was amazing. In that moment, at like 12 years old, you just kind of know that there's not going to be a full rebuild. You have 1 year. You can be bad for 1 year if you're the Cowboys. Then you have to figure it out. Then it's either a coaching error or it's a personnel error. And I'm going to be honest right now. It's not coaching. It's personnel. I mean, Eberflus got to go because we don't have the core to fit what he wants to run with his with what he does with his linebackers. We have the defensive front now. I mean, Houston has been unbelievable for us on the edge. The guy from the Lions. And so yeah, no, a long-winded answer. Yes, I do feel like there's a pressure, and that's the reason we haven't been able to rebuild and restart. Because I feel like this foundation it's going to be easier to build around this core than a lot of other guys, a lot of other teams in the NFL. Obviously, you'd love to free up some of that Dak money, maybe restructure that contract, cut a 20 million off, 30 million off. But I mean, he's been unbelievable. He's been one of our 3 best players. You don't normally see Brandon Aubrey miss 2 field goals in a game.
That's a good point.
So I would like to say that it probably would have been a closer game if that happened, but still, you can't. This is a game you got to go in and you got to win. You got to convince everyone, convince the fans, convince yourself, and win. And they looked like a fish out of water for most of that game.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Kevontae Turpin looked good. But that's not all that impressive.
My brother's got this great bit that he does where he's like, yeah, I've got the exact same build. He calls it the Kevontae Turpin Club because him, Kevontae Turpin, and Ted Bundy all have the exact same height and weight. So he calls it the Kevontae Turpin Club.
Dude, if Kevontae Turpin could use all of his effort to stop moving laterally and start moving down the field, that dog would be an all-pro again.
Be a good player.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the game that everyone was glued to their TV for during the 425 slate. A 44-year-old man was taking snaps behind center, and he looked every year of 44 years old out there. I don't know about you guys, but he looked old. Phillip Rivers was out there slanging the rock.
He has looked
really
every bit of 44 since he was 24.
Yeah.
And now he's actually 44.
Yeah, I mean, he was using every bit of his body to slang the rock 13 yards at the maximum. I thought they were going to let him throw a Hail Mary at the end of that game there, which would have been hilarious if they did. But the number 2 overall Seahawks, the number 2 team in the NFC they're not the number 2 team. They're sitting behind the Rams, but they're 11-3 at the same time. I think they have the number 2 record in the NFC. Needed a game-winning field goal to beat this Indianapolis Colts team. Is it officially time to say that the Colts are just out of the running? They have Jonathan Taylor still. They clearly cannot generate all that much offense. They're sitting in 3rd in their division right now, behind the Houston Texans in 2nd and the Jags in 1st in the AFC South, who, let's be honest, both those teams could completely implode down the stretch, but it feels like the Indianapolis Colts missed their window now that Daniel Jones is out, and they just I don't know what their plan for quarterback is this week, but I can't imagine it's having Phillip Rivers back out there. But it was awesome to watch.
I think they named him the starter.
Again.
Yeah, because Riley Leonard's out and their 3rd string guy is out.
Oh, boy.
I don't have much to say on this. I think they have a winning formula. I think they have a good head coach. Shane Steichen was obviously in the running to win Coach of the Year after they started. What is it? They were 8-1 at one point, and then they lost. Lost 5 straight? That's crazy. I like them, and I think probably the best the best way for them to go the rest of the season. These last 3 games, they have 49ers, Jags, Texans. I know this is a sad thing to say when you start 8-1, but you might want to lose out because this draft has some really high-end defensive players. And I think they're missing 1 or 2 defensive playmakers on that line and in that front seven. And then dude, I think the Colts are very good. My only question with them is what their question is still with Daniel Jones or without Daniel Jones is he good enough to get you over the hump? Is he good enough to be somebody who can compete in big games? Because I don't think I can answer that confidently. I think he was phenomenal before he went down, but that's with the expectations. I
Yeah.
do think their season is over, though.
I agree with
What-
you, and I think that the one thing that they're missing is if Anthony Richardson had turned into the guy that they were hoping he would be, this team would be a premier squad in the AFC. But I agree with you. Even with Daniel Jones, they're still missing that quarterback play. And as good as he was in the first 4
Mhm.
weeks, again, to your point, I don't think you're confident enough with him under center to confidently say we are one of the best teams in the AFC. What I did think was cool was Philip Rivers in his post-game press conference pretty much just said, yep, just wanted to prove to my high school team that I could still come out here and play in the NFL. And that was funny.
His
Yeah, that's
youngest
pretty
kid
awesome.
being
That's
his youngest
pretty
kid
awesome.
being like, I saw my dad play.
Literally,
Yeah, exactly.
his post-game press conference, he was just like, yeah, just wanted to go home and tell all the boys on the high school team that I could still do it. And that was cool. But I do think you're right, actually. There's no point in them winning games. I still think they're going to miss the playoffs. And you are holding on to the last couple of years of Jonathan Taylor's prime because running back primes are short. And he's been a great running back for 5 or 6 years now. So as long as he's on this team with this defense that is talented, obviously Sauce Gardner went down. You're missing him. They are just missing that piece at quarterback. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with both of you. I think you're just really playing with fire, putting him out there again on Sunday if you're doing that, because he is literally one hit away from like the the Amber Alert noise playing over NFL primetime and just him needing to get carted off. No one wants to see that. So just be careful with Phil Rivers, a future Hall of Famer at this point.
Alex, can you show us a Phil Rivers throwing
I mean,
motion?
he's clearly sorry, I'm kind of boxed in here, but he's got kind of a sling motion to it, where he steps back. So the drop back and pass is ready,
hard
ready,
count.
And he goes, and he kind of throws his whole
Dude, he
shoulder
whips his
forward,
head.
which is it looks really uncomfortable. Clearly not something that he learned, from one of these 5-star quarterback camps.
He looks
but
like
at the same time,
he looks like he's getting hit by Micah Parsons or a star defensive lineman every time he throws the ball, regardless of the pressure on him.
Yeah. Because
I just think you're
it just tuck.
Yeah, I think you're really playing with fire when you let Philip Rivers take snaps behind center at this point. Let's move forward though. Are the Ravens back? Is a big question going into the AFC right now. This team started off the year really poor, but I think everyone kind of figured that they would figure it out after a certain period of time. I mean, Lamar missed a lot of time in the beginning. They're playing in a really weak AFC North right now. They're sitting at 7-7 behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. Discount, double check. Aaron Rodgers, who are sitting at 8-6. But I do think that they're probably the favorite to come out of this division. Obviously, they play the Patriots this upcoming week. That will tell you a lot about these two teams. What do you guys see from the Baltimore Ravens, and do you expect them to win this game this weekend?
I think that's exactly it, right? This game against the Patriots decides whether or not they're actually back. I think this Bengals team is really susceptible to being blown out every week if their offense isn't firing because their defense is just that bad. And 24 is not really an impressive number to put up against the Bengals defense. They are, a disgusting group of men on that team. And
especially considering you turn them over, 2 or 3 times? I think Joe Burrow threw 3 picks. You would expect to score more there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that the Ravens against the Patriots is a huge game for both of these teams to see if the Ravens beat the Patriots, they are legitimately in talks to make a playoff run in my mind. But I still quite haven't seen them click on all cylinders like we're used to seeing, especially coming off of last year. They just can't quite figure it out. Obviously, Zay Flowers had probably his best game of the season. If you could hope to see him kind of figure that out more, he hasn't really been the guy that you thought that he would be this year. But I think that if they beat the Patriots, you're starting to see the Ravens get back into that form, which is dangerous going into playoffs.
Yeah. I've probably watched outside of Cowboys football, the Ravens are the most that I've watched because of Cam. Um, their
She a
offense is
Ravens
bad.
fan.
She's a huge Ravens fan. Um, their offense is bad. Like, it is a very hard watch. Lamar won't run, and I don't know if that's out of fear of injury. I think he's playing injured. I don't know if that's he's deciding not to move out of the pocket because of that. But their offense is so limited by not having him be a mobile factor. Also, Derrick Henry, he actually was great in this game, but he's not as explosive as he was. There's less that you can rely on this offense that you could last year. However, the defense has made a complete 180. They were the worst unit in the NFL through the first 5 weeks,
Mhm.
and that is a very talented offense. No matter the lack of availability and time that the Bengals have had together, to hold them to 0 points, to get 3 interceptions, what was it, like 4 sacks, like that. That was my biggest takeaway from this game. And overall, it's a little bit of an identity crisis because the last like couple of years they've been this high-powered offense with a solid defense. And I mean, the Kyle Van Noy interception to the handoff to
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
it was
smart.
Wiggins, like that was lit. But like that was the best play they had all day by a long shot. Like, and that's not what we've seen from the Ravens the last couple of years. I think even if they make the playoffs, I think whoever's playing them at that 5 seed is gonna whoop their ass.
Okay.
Yeah, and they still gave up like 130 yards and 10 or 11 receptions to Jamar Chase. Like, they are susceptible to, like, I'm surprised the Bengals didn't score at all, to be honest with you.
Same. I was shocked that whole game because like the Ravens don't have like Marlon Humphrey isn't what he used to be. They don't have the premier corner anymore. They played a lot of Jair Alexander before they cut him. Like Wiggins is a nice piece, but like
Kyle Hamilton is still a
I mean,
premier
Kyle
safety.
Hamilton might be the best football player. I'm gonna glaze for a second, but that dude, I mean, he can do everything on a football field.
Yeah.
Safety, linebacker, fucking throw him at corner. Like, I'm dug with that. I like Kyle Hamilton is that guy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think coming out of this game, you have a lot of questions about Joe Burrow if you're the Bengals. For the past 2 weeks now, you've seen Joe Burrow's name in the headlines, him saying something about him not having fun playing football. Why would he even want to do it then? The reason is because you're taking up 16% of your team's roster capability with cap space. So at some point, someone's got to look at him and be like, hey, guess what? Yes, you're playing a children's game professionally, but like you're also making like $175 million on this contract. Like, could we lock in, please, and like win some football games maybe?
It
So I
was
think that there
scary.
are
It was
some-
very Andrew Luck-esque, the comments that he was making, and he retired early for
Correct.
similar reasons.
Correct. But so I think that there are some serious questions right now with Joe Burrow and his future with this Cincinnati Bengals team. Right? Where are you going to see him land? Like, I don't think they're going to trade him. Let's be honest with where we're at. But like, his future is uncertain. Right? I mean, the best ability in the NFL is availability, and in the past 3 seasons they've missed the playoffs, and he's missed significant time in all 3 of them. And while last year he had an MVP caliber season, I think if he went to the playoffs, you have a serious conversation about him or Josh Allen for the MVP. He threw for over 5,000 yards. But they haven't been able to replicate the magic that they had when they went to the Super Bowl in 2022. And they have almost the same roster, and the defense has always been awful, in Cincinnati. So like maybe that's the reason, but like you can't get shut out by the Ravens, in my opinion. Like, I think that this offense is just too good, even without T. Higgins, to play the way that they have. And I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about his play.
I think that's good. I think I brought that up like 2 weeks ago, and Jack said something that kind of made me hesitate on it, on getting that ahead of myself, which was when he's healthy, he is maybe the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't know. I'm still trying to wrap my head around like what is the balance of when do you get rid of a guy because he can't be healthy anymore and sacrifice what might be one of the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL when healthy and like keeping him
Mhm.
because at some point you want to get some value. I know the Jets would trade everything for Joe Burrow.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I think you could
But-
name 15 teams that would trade everything for Joe Burrow, but that's exactly why you keep him, because he is one of the best quarterbacks.
Mhm.
You can't, if you're the Bengals, you can't move on from a guy like Joe Burrow, not only because he is the centerpiece of your offense, but he is your franchise player. And he has pretty much died for this team so far. And you've surrounded him with the right pieces offensively. You can't get rid of him because it's not his fault. You can't move on from a guy like that. I mean, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And even against the
When
Bills
healthy, yes.
last week, he was phenomenal.
yeah.
But I don't like, it's the same thing we've had with the Bengals all season. We just don't know what's wrong. We don't know what they have to do because it's such a dumpster fire.
I don't even know how you rebuild the defense. I don't know how you bolster the offensive line with the cap, like with their lack of cap flexibility. And frankly, is it a coaching thing? Because if you do have this talented of an offense, you can't put up 0 points.
Yeah.
You
It's a good
just
point.
can't put up 0 points.
I think
It's a good point.
for me, the
Yeah, I
only way
think-
out of it is you
No,
have
go
to
ahead.
get lucky in the draft. You have to get lucky with an offensive lineman.
Mhm.
Have to get lucky with some defensive players, or else you're kind of stuck in what we often say is the worst place in sports, which is mediocrity.
Yeah.
Mediocrity. I mean, yeah, I think that's true, Jag. I think you bring up a good point, which is like not only is the defense bad, like they don't protect him. You know what I mean? Like he's taking 8, 12 hits a game. You know, whether that's sacks or not with QB pressures, like they have one of the worst O lines in the game, and like it's not a winning formula for this team. But I also think that we've talked about it before. It's not a winning formula to have almost 50% of your cap, dedicated to 4 players. Like I don't know where you go from there. Like
It's
how
not the
can you
NBA.
afford? How can you
Yeah.
afford to have those 4 players? Right, it's exactly right. The philosophy of keeping 4 stars on a team in the NBA, like it makes sense, right? Because it's a 15-man roster sport, right? Like you don't have to pay, an outside tackle who's going to keep your quarterback from getting in a stretcher the same amount that you pay Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Like it's just not sustainable. So like I do think that they're going to have some questions about who to move on from. And I think that there are genuinely people in the camp of saying Joe Burrow's never healthy. We need him off the roster.
That did not work like you thought it would, did it, George?
No, it did
You
not.
tried to
It
be
did
so
not.
sneaky. We got a Janender blast at the 37-minute mark. Yeah, you can't move on from Joe Burrow. That's idiotic, in my opinion. God damn it, George.
2025 bloopers comp.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on from that. A team that the Bengals matched up with in the 2022 AFC Championship, the Kansas City Chiefs have been eliminated for the playoffs for the first time since 2014. This comes along the news that Patrick Mahomes has unfortunately torn his ACL. Prayers up for him. What went wrong with this Kansas City Chiefs team this year? They seemed like they had a lot of holes from the beginning of the season, lost a lot of one-score games, something that we talked about on last week's episode. And while it felt like they probably weren't trending towards being a playoff team, it's still kind of shocking that they're not in, because we all said it. We were all kind of like, well, if they do get in, they might go on a tear, right? Because that's just the history of dominance that we've seen from this Kansas City team historically. It feels like they're going to shut everyone down, if I had to guess, and they're probably going to go for a high draft pick, which sounds really scary for the NFL. But what holes do this team need to fill to get back to that level of being a Super Bowl contender, or have teams figured them out?
I think, first of all, I've been waiting for the day when I could have a Chiefs hate watch, and the day that they missed the playoffs for a long time. And the way that it happened was so anticlimactic and not rewarding at all for the rest of the NFL. No one wanted to see Patrick Mahomes get hurt with an ACL. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is good for the NFL, and as much as I hate the Chiefs, I love watching him play. And him getting hurt sucks. I mean, it sucks, even as an AFC other team fan. So the way that it happened was super anticlimactic. But in order to answer your question, I think the problem is they are moving away from this like group of people that have been so successful for so long. Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, Chris Jones. These are all guys that could possibly retire at the end of the year. So rather than them being done, I think that they're just retooling their team.
Mhm.
Someone new may step in the head coach. Travis Kelce's probably done. He looks like he's on his last legs. They're going to have to find new ways to be successful, and it may not come next season. But I think that this Chiefs team will be back to as good as they have been. And I don't think that you can figure out a guy like Patrick Mahomes.
That's great analysis. Shit. Looking at it straight on, I mean, I think you got it totally on the point. They're playing the Patrick Mahomes era in phases. This is still part of the first phase. He's going to play football for 20 total years at least. How you recuperate and figure it out is you need to get a running back, you need to fix the offensive line, and you need to be able, like, the way that they've rinsed and washed corners, like not paying anybody but getting guys in the draft. They need to hit home again with an all-star corner, because I felt like they were so vulnerable through the air, where normally that's like they got a shutdown, lockdown, air defense, and Chris Jones is manning the middle, and now you have Karlaftis really becoming a great NFL player. Like I just don't feel like they have the same magic. I don't feel like they have the same talent across the full football team. You're completely right. It's a retool. It's not a rebuild. I doubt, though, if Andy Reid would retire after this season.
No
Maybe that's
shot.
just me,
No.
but like Mr. Cheeseburger himself has some more cheeseburgers to eat after some Super Bowls.
Yeah,
I mean, I think this defense is immensely talented across the board. Trent McDuffie
Mhm.
is a top 3 cornerback in the NFL, probably. Leo Chenal is a great coverage linebacker. Nick Bolton is a great coverage linebacker. And then, as you mentioned, you have pieces on the defensive line. This team is incredibly talented defensively. What stuck out to me this year the most is that their offense has been based so much on their use of being hybrid. They've been very dynamic. They've made use of bad running backs throughout Patrick Mahomes' career. They've lived on 8 to 10 yard passes to Travis Kelce that in the middle of the zone that they just haven't been able to find this year, which is where you maybe could say teams are starting to figure it out. And then they have great wide receiver talent, but obviously these guys haven't been on the field consistently all year. So I think that they will be able to figure it out, but the defense to me is the piece that feels like they're fine. They still have a great defense. Spagnuolo knows exactly what to do with this defense. And they haven't been opened up at all this year. They haven't given up more than 30 points once this year. So that side feels good to me, but I feel like addressing the offense is what the Chiefs need to do this offseason. And you said it last week. You said they went to a Super Bowl with Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
They've always had bad running backs. If you could have someone legitimate in there, that makes them pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. And they're going to have a good draft pick, right? So you're going to maybe have a chance of getting, I don't think Jeremiah Love's going to fall that far in the draft, but you're going to have a chance
get the kid from Missouri. Get the kid from Missouri who just
made
put up
people
1,500
forget
yards.
that Kareem Hunt kicked a woman on their team.
Oh, I don't think anyone forgot about that.
I think people have selectively chosen to forget about that.
I
at
think
Arrowhead.
Jack, you might be onto something there, because
yeah. I mean, when talking about this football season in particular, I think it's important to just take a little bit of a retrospective and look at the season overall. This season has had a ton of parity, it feels like, across the NFL. A lot of teams that weren't supposed to be good or weren't supposed to be as good as they are have, started to reemerge. You look at the Patriots. You look at the LA Rams. I don't think anybody really had touted as being as good as they are. The Seattle Seahawks, another team like that. So has this year in football been fun, or has it kind of been forgettable? A lot of the stars and players that we, are used to seeing at the top of the NFL have kind of fallen off this year. It's a little bit more of a younger crew here ruling the NFL. There isn't a clear MVP favorite through this week 15 at this point. So what are we thinking about this NFL season? Are we happy with the way it's gone, or are we going to forget about it in a few years?
I think uncertainty breeds fun when it comes to professional sports. The fact that we don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl and it's week 16. When was the last time we could say this? I think the Rams will, but they very easily could not.
Mhm.
I feel like the top is so evenly matched. We don't even know who's making the playoffs. Like it's an actual race. We don't know who's winning MVP. I mean, defensive player of the year, it's going to be Myles Garrett because he's superhuman, one
Yeah, he's
sack
gonna
away from the
break the
sack
sack
record.
record next week. Yeah,
Yeah, and week 16, which is freaking crazy. He might put up 26 sacks, but I mean, like, this is to answer the question. This is a season I will never forget because I can't remember a season where I had so much fun watching other teams play.
I think that this season, I think it's kind of a tough point to say whether or not I think the regular season has been very forgettable up to this point.
Really?
And I think that the playoffs have a chance to be incredibly memorable. Exactly to your point, George. But I got a crazy take for you guys. I think that the NFL has been boring in recent years because guys look too good in their football pads. The NFL was awesome every year that guys had like giant shoulder pads. Every dude had a tough time moving around. These guys look too much like athletes and not like big guys playing a children's game. I think we should bring back bigger shoulder pads and make it a little bit tougher on these guys to make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, think about it. The
Let me ask
quarterback
you
era
this, let me
ended,
ask you
and
this.
now they have small pads. They look like real athletes, and I think it's a little less fun on the eyes. I'll say it.
You think that's a little less fun on the eyes? How about, stick with me here, quarterback pads and guardian caps for every player in the NFL?
I mean, the game would be forgettable. Every week would be forgettable. I think the game's been forgettable since guys started kicking 60-yard field goals. I'll say that too.
Oh my
Wow.
God, this guy.
I'll say
This
The
guy
that
best
too.
hates
cowboy.
kickers. He just hates them.
I love kickers. I
Just
think they're
hates
doing great
kickers.
stuff for the game, but 2-minute drills aren't the same. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
Also, guys scrambling outside the
I mean,
pocket.
you're probably right.
Game's been forgettable since guys can't sit in the pocket for 8 seconds, which is obviously not feasible. I got some weird takes. That's a bad one. That's a bad take. The kicker one's a bad take too. The pads one,
All
I'm
right.
gonna stand behind the pads one though. Just like one game, we got The Simpsons on Disney Plus playing football, but we can't get some guys in some giant shoulder pads for one game a year.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
hear you.
completely fair. Once you put it like that, you get the SpongeBob game or the Simpsons game on, the Nickelodeon bullshit.
Hey,
Like-
yeah. Calm down. On
We
the
are
MVP,
also
all right?
MVP positive, so I mean, I know you're new around here, but
MVP Pro Show.
yeah, we are
What?
huge positive on that.
All right, let's move on. Let's wrap up NFL here. I want to point to both of you, and I want you to tell me who's going to win Coach of the Year because I know George is a really hot take for us here. George, who's going to win Coach of the Year this year?
I want it to be Kyle Shanahan, and this is maybe a little bit of an umbrella for.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
Before
when
the
I
show,
say
you were
umbrella-
standing on it,
Defend
and you
it,
said
defend it.
Kyle Shanahan's going to be Coach of the Year. Come on, be a man. We're on the show
I
now.
think
Lights
Kyle
are on.
Shanahan should win Coach of the Year, and when I say it's a little bit of an umbrella, it's encapsulating how good he's been for so many years, and this is the testament. He has been winning without his best football players all season. They're 10-4. They're going to make the playoffs. They're playing in one of the, I think, the hardest division in football, and they have made it work with a bad Brock Purdy, and then they made it work with Mac Jones, who was looking like a Pro Bowler until Brock Purdy came back. Ayuk hasn't played. Fred Warner is out. Bosa is out. You look across the board. They lost Chardavius Ward this summer. They lost a lot of talent. Like the only person who came back from the dead is Ricky Pearsall because he literally got shot and then came back from the dead. Like, I don't see a world in which that isn't reflected on Kyle Shanahan. That is the only way I can look at this team and be like, that is why they're 10-4. Yes, they have one of the best running backs on the planet, Christian McCaffrey, but like the way Shanahan's been able to will this unit to wins, in my opinion, he's Coach of the Year.
I hear your point, and I think that it comes from you don't understand how Coach of the Year works, because you could totally be right, and he could be coaching his ass off, which he is, and it's a good point. But that's not how Coach of the Year works. It's just like your JB Bickerstaff take with the Pistons. You think he should be winning Coach of the Year too, but their team was good in the playoffs last year, and so like he won't win because his team went from pretty good to really good. and that's not going to win you Coach of the Year. Mike Vrabel will win Coach of the Year because he took a team that was literally in possession of the worst record in the NFL until the last 2 minutes of their game last year when Joe Milton beat the Buffalo Bills to give them the second worst record in the NFL to possibly vying for the top spot in the AFC. That is what wins you
Thanks,
Coach of the Year.
Gerard Mayo.
That is why Vrabel's the Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I don't hate that take either. I think that my two guys are the clear ones, and it's either you go with Vrabel, who has probably the biggest turnaround in the NFL this season, with a better roster, I would say. Maybe I actually wouldn't say that. I would say I think that Vrabel's roster is probably worse than the second guy that I'm going to bring up here, which is Ben Johnson, who was with the Chicago Bears. They're sitting at 10-4. Right, so like those are the two biggest turnaround seasons in the NFL, and I think that that's the reason that you would probably consider them to win Coach of the Year. I don't hate your Shanahan take. I just don't think it's realistic.
I got another guy who I would put over Shanahan. Sean Payton with the Broncos, I think is probably over Shanahan right now for what he's done in Denver this year. You want to talk about willing a group of mediocre players to being a great football team? Sean Payton's done that.
No. And you know what? I would hear the Sean. Though I'm not hearing out the other two guys. I think the hardest thing in the NFL is to stay at the top. And the 49ers have been able to stay at the top for a very long time. It's very easy. I'm not saying it's very easy, but it is easy with the right circuit, easier to go from bottom to really good. Now, to go from bottom to top, like the Patriots have done, you got to give flowers. And you know what? Vrabel probably will win Coach of the Year. I think it should be Shanahan, but that's just a difference in opinion at the end of the day.
I mean, you want to talk about staying at the top. His rival in his division, Sean McVay, has been able to do that throughout many processions of teams. And his roster is certainly not only healthier, but also better than this 49ers roster. But
yeah,
that's a good point.
No, there are a lot of coaches coaching their ass off. Shout out Duval.
Yeah, good shout out.
Because he's doing a great job in Jacksonville, dude. He's making Trevor Lawrence look like he's somewhat competent.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that as well. All right, Jack, let's make some picks here. Bad week from the boys last week. Bad week from the boys.
Yeah, it was.
We both missed on Game of the Week and not Game of the Week. We both went 1-4 on our regular picks, so I maintain a 3-game lead going into Week 15 here. But
it was a stinky week, but it was barely better than the 0-5 that we were both predicting for ourselves. What I've come to realize is I inherently don't really give a shit about Game of the Week and not Game of the Week. They feel like throwaway picks to me, and I got to fix that because that is proven to just kill me week after week.
Yeah.
Also, I think I may be off the fun
game
pick
a little
train.
bit better.
I think I might be off the fun pick train. It's really done nothing good.
He's off the fun pick train. The amazing thing about last week was the only pick that hit was my fun week. It was Phillip Rivers covering against the Seattle Seahawks.
That was a really
that was the
fun
only
pick
that won. But that being said, I'm going to take my first pick here, Lions -7 over Pittsburgh. The Lions need a win. This is when Pittsburgh likes to lose big games. If the Lions win, they're still keeping their playoff hopes alive. If they lose, then they're out of the playoffs. You know, so I think that the Lions will probably pull out all the stops in this one and get it done in Pittsburgh.
And this is the exact perfect pick from you because the Steelers have won 2 games in a row. They're sitting at exactly 8 wins right now, which means that they will win exactly 1 more game this season. We know that's going to happen. And it will not be against the Lions this week. That's a great pick from you. My next pick is Eagles -6.5 over the Commanders. The Commanders have nothing to play for. Jaden Daniels is done for the season. They're going to be sitting guys and tanking for draft picks, rightfully so. Lost to the Giants last week, and the Eagles actually have to win this game. So I think they beat the Commanders by a full touchdown.
Did they lose to the Giants last week?
Yeah.
I thought they beat the Giants. Maybe you're right. That being said,
they might have beat the Giants.
My next team.
No, they didn't because we lost on not game of the
Giants.
week. No, we lost on not game of the week. Maybe they did.
Yeah,
no, they did beat the Giants. You're right.
The commies did beat the Giants. Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, moving on. I think we both picked the Giants to win that game because we thought that's a team that will, inevitably win a game that they should lose, which is why this game, in my opinion, is a little bit more dicey. I picked against 9 last week. I'm not doing it again. I'm taking the Vikings -3 over the Giants, but this feels like a massive trap game. This game could go any which way.
Yeah, I like that one again because the Giants have already lost their game, or they lost last week. They might win this week, but if the Vikings win, they're going to be trapped in mediocrity, and that would be a pretty JJ McCarthy move. My next pick, big game here. Broncos playing the Jaguars, two teams that I haven't really been sold on all year, and I'm really starting to come around on. I think that the Broncos at home have looked really good, especially in close games. I got them -3 over the Jaguars, which honestly feels like kind of a big spread than I would have thought. I thought it would have been like 1.5. But I got them -3.
Yeah, that's not that big a spread. It's -3. But at the same time, I like that pick a lot for you. My last one is a fun pick. I'm going to take the Bears +1.5 over the Packers. This game I don't feel really that comfortable about, but let's go Bears. The Bears need to win a game to get to the playoffs. They play 3 really tough teams. I think it's the Packers, the Eagles, and I don't even know who the last one is. Maybe the Bills are in there or something like that. But they have a tough stretch coming up, and they need to get a win. I think that their best chance to get to the playoffs is to beat the Packers this weekend.
I really love that pick because I really want to see the Bears win this week. I'm rooting for the Bears all the way. They're a really fun team to watch. And I hope that pick hits, unfortunately. My last pick that I have here, we just talked about Shanahan and what he's doing. I think that they beat the Colts by 6 points. I got them -6. Not to jump off the Phillip Rivers bandwagon, but I think that I think that the Niners get it done here.
Yeah.
You're a bad guy. You're a bad guy for doing that.
I'm a bad guy, but I told you I'm done with the fun picks. I'm off the train.
Let's talk about game of the week. We have Rams versus Seahawks for sole control of that division. This is a big game. This is a really big game. One of these teams will come out 12-3. One of these teams will come out 11-4. Who do you have between the Rams and the Seahawks here?
Yeah, this is a really, really good football game. I think it's going to be high scoring. If we could take the over, I'd be taking the over. But I like it depends on who's healthy. I mean, are Tay and Nacua playing this week?
Let me check that. I was pulling it up right now.
I don't know. I think you probably won't see Davante Adams. I'm probably sure you'll see Puka Nacua, though.
You'll see Nacua. Davante Adams is questionable. Higbee's out for sure. Lake is out.
Okay.
And Brady Fisk might be out.
I'm going to say I like the Rams in this game just because I think that this game pretty much locks up the one spot in the NFC, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think the Rams want that more than the Seahawks do. Honestly, I could see this one going either way, and I'm going to take the Rams. I'm sure you'll take the Seahawks.
Yeah, I will. I'll be the guy who takes the Seahawks. I think that it's good to have parity in these picks here, and I'm pretty sure we're both going to pick someone similar for not game of the week, which is Jets versus Saints.
I think that this has maybe been our most even game of the week all year.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, not game of the week, Jets, Saints. One of these teams looks like the worst team in the NFL, and the other one is the New Orleans Saints. I'm hopping on the Tyler Shuck bus, and I will be backing the Saints this week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think to go 5-0 this week, I'm going to need the Saints to win. So I'm going to take the Saints over the Jets here.
That's a Babe Ruth call your shot on the 5-0. I think that's a little disrespectful from you.
The last time the Seahawks and Rams played, it was 21-19 in LA. Oh, man, that's gonna be some good football on Thursday.
It's gonna be some good football.
It's gonna be some good football.
I'm excited for that.
Man, we'll see if Darnold can hang in.
All right, my goodness.
Cleaning out my room yesterday.
Is that the same toy that people were filling with water and seeing how big it could get?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Are we doing NBA today?
LeBron. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of NBA.
All right, Let's talk about the in-season tournament. You guys were talking about it last night. I'm going to be honest, didn't even know the final was last night. I had no idea. Didn't watch a minute of it.
I honestly think this brings up a good question. When it comes to the NBA Cup in particular, is that does anyone care? It feels like the players care, which is, I think, what the most important part of it is, because, you watch that game dude, guys 10 through 15 on the bench at the end of that game were either heartbroken or ecstatic because they were about to make half their contract in one night of playing basketball, which is pretty cool. Tyler Kolek played 20 minutes last night, scored 14 points somehow.
He was unbelievable.
But like that guy's like making 2 times his salary now because of how he played in that game, right? Like everybody was up off the bench. They were super stoked if you're a Knicks fan to win a game. Now Knicks fans were like climbing on poles and like ripping down shit in the middle of New York, which is a little bit excessive for winning the NBA Cup in-season tournament, a tournament that has never attributed itself to winning the NBA championship, if I'm not mistaken. But it feels good to win this game. I think it's important to the players. I think from a fan perspective, you're kind of just like, well, it's another trophy. You know, you're not putting up a banner for it, but at the same time, like
they are.
I'm not even joking.
Gonna.
No, they put up a banner for this now.
It's just dumb. Like that to me is dumb. But I also think that like increasing engagement from the players to like have a high level basketball game in the middle of the regular season is important. And those teams wanted to win last night. Like you could tell that both those teams were trying to win that game.
I think part of it, to address your Knicks fan thing, is that there's some Knicks fans out there who are surface level fans, don't really know a lot about the team, just want to say that they're Knicks fans. I think they might have thought this was the NBA championship. Mm-hmm. That's maybe why they were going so nuts. The thing about the NBA Cup is I totally agree. It's awesome for the reason that you mentioned, which is that there are guys who are making double their salary in one game. That's the cool part. But guys who are making $30 million don't give a shit about it. They just have to go to Vegas, which they don't want to do.
No, but they kind of do, though. That's the thing.
Cat went crazy. Dude.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, they were going like
Josh Hart was hyped.
Right,
he was
but
excited.
It's like certain guys on certain teams. If you're a good basketball team, you want to do it for the guys at the end of the bench. But do you think that the Memphis Grizzlies really care about this game? Like they have no chance to win, although they would probably benefit the most from it. Regardless, I think the NBA has to do a better job publicizing it because to the casual viewer,
I would agree
they don't
with
even
that.
understand how the rules work. They don't even know like the pool play part of it. I had multiple people texting me asking me what the rules to the NBA Cup were, and it's a good question. So I think the NBA just has to do a better job of publicizing it. I didn't even know that it happened, and I watch a lot of basketball. And that's probably on me. I'm going to put the hand up again for that. But if you want to get people as excited as the players are, which is awesome, then you should probably do a better job making people knowledgeable about what's going on. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, no, I think both of y'all hit it straight on the nail. Like, the NBA needs to make this, like, the product of basketball that we've had for the last 2 or 3 weeks because of this has been unbelievable. The semifinals, the OKC versus Spurs game was the best chess match I've ever seen in a regular season game since, like, Warriors Cavs 2016-17 Christmas Day game. Like, I've been loving this. Very big on this. I totally agree with you, Jack, that people should know about this. In addition to that, players' incentive creates fan incentive. If players go out there wanting to play, fans will want to go and watch. How do you get the rest of the league outside of 5 teams that feel like they have a shot because they actually end up winning those 5 games by a certain margin of points to get them into the quarterfinals, and then now they're going to try? How do you get the other teams in the group stage to try? What is the incentive? Because it can't just be money. And I'm not saying playoff anything, but I don't know what the answer is. But I think you are right. There yes, guys like Cat and Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson were hype, and the stars on the Spurs were devastated. And this creates maybe the incentive is this was a playoff-like environment. We saw like a lot more X's and O's in a regular season game, and a lot more thought and a lot more like heart than we would normally see between a normal Spurs-Knicks game. But how do we make that special for everyone else?
And that's the question, right? Because you guys are talking about like the 2 examples of the teams that are doing the NBA Cup properly. All the bigger players are bought in to support their smaller players. But there's also 30 other teams or 28 other teams that aren't doing it properly, or 15 other teams even that aren't doing it properly. How do we get those guys to buy in? Because, I mean, it really is a chance to be like everyone has a chance at winning something this year. How do you get those other guys to buy in? And they're probably the ones who need it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good question. But I also think the concept of it is really fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like kind of the more like Adam Silver's trying to throw shit at the wall that's going to stick. And like, if you're seeing high level basketball in December, I think you're happy with that as the casual fan.
Dude,
sure.
I was saying this to my dad last night. My dad was like, "What's even the point of having this?" And I said, "The point is NBA viewership since 2005, from November till the All-Star break, from Thanksgiving to the All-Star break, is so abysmal. No one watches basketball then, and there's good basketball being played. This is a way to get more guys involved, more fans and guys and girls involved. We do support women's sports on this show and
Yeah.
women's sports fandom, getting more people involved in the game. And I love it. I'm a little bit of an Adam Silver glazer.
I think Adam Silver's doing the right thing here.
That's okay.
I think Alex, you're right. He's throwing shit at the wall and see if it's going to stick. One that's not sticking for me, fix the court design. I think it's kind of lame.
It's so lame. Dude, just do that for the championship. Do like a sick ass court for the championship.
Yeah.
Do
Or just
something cool
just
for
put
that.
the cup in the middle, like in the center court, and then have normal courts, and that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't make the court all green or something like that. Like let's just
Even
like,
if you
get
just
rid
pick
of
better
that.
Yours is so
colors.
ass.
Like even if you just pick better colors, it's so hideous.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna do neon yellow for this court today.
Pacers,
Grizzlies
yeah, we're
court
gonna do
is
black.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
man. Dude, something I saw from that game, I thought Dylan Harper, and he's been like this for a couple of weeks now since he's been back and healthy. And when he was playing, man, I think he's playing some great basketball. The way he is able to get to the rim, the composure that he plays with, the defense he was playing on Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
I was, you don't like, I steal this quote from Nerd Sessions show. They say that rookie guards in the NBA, they get a pass on their first year. Like whatever they do their first year, it doesn't really matter. You vault it, their first year is their second year. Dylan Harper is the exact opposite of that theory. He has come into the NBA ready, and yeah, he was the second overall pick. He should be, but like doing things that rookie guards don't do. Like the decision making, the feel for the game, when to turn it on, when to turn it off. I mean, going forward, the San Antonio Spurs future is as bright as it can be.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
I would
Totally
agree with
agree.
you. I don't love to glaze Dylan Harper solely for the fact that he is one of my teammates, high school teammates. So we do enough of that. But at the same time, I think you're right. I think that he is going to show as a really good NBA player. Does he have the upside to be an all-star caliber player in a few years? 100%. Is that going to be realized on the Spurs? That's where I have the question. Just because they have guys like Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt alongside him. And while they don't necessarily all play the same position, like Stephon Castle is a guy that could get you a double-double with assists and points, and you wouldn't blink an eye. He did it last night. He almost had a triple-double last night.
0 turnovers.
He had 1 turnover. He turned it over on the inbounds pass.
Oh, yeah, facts.
But at the same time, like you look at this backcourt and you're like, okay, they have really good defensive guards. Like, where does he fit? And Harper in particular last night stepped up and made some big threes, which is something that also is probably going to limit his, like what his upside potential is going to be is like, where will his minutes come in the rotation and what level of 3-point shooter can he become? But I think you're right, though. I think that you do see, I think you do see the upside with him on this team in particular. And I also think at the same time, like being on the Spurs is going to be a great situation for him because he's going to get to learn behind some veteran guards. And then he's going to be able to establish himself when you don't want to re-sign De'Aaron Fox in a few years.
Well, but I think that raises another question, which is, are you comfortable enough with what you've seen from Dylan Harper so far this season to maybe think about putting a trade package together for a guy like a Giannis Antetokounmpo that may include one of those two guards? And that's where you can maybe find his minutes in this rotation. Are you comfortable doing that yet?
I think the reason I say no is you don't want the two untouchables, and they've said this. It's Harper, Cass. Well, from the guards, obviously Wemby is untouchable, but it's Harper and Castle. They don't want to trade either of those. They think they can be like this backcourt combo guard unit. Fox is obviously expendable.
Yeah, he's the odd man out. He's the odd
man out. Timeline wise, play style wise. I mean, he had some good buckets last night, but he is the one who I think gets the short end of the stick. The reason I don't trade for Giannis is the only reason you do that is to compete with the Spurs right now.
Mhm.
I mean, compete with the Thunder right now. I think we saw this, and it's a foreshadowing to what we will see in 3 or 4 years when Wemby has fully harnessed his powers and might be the best player in the NBA by then, if he can stay healthy. They don't need to trade for Giannis to sacrifice their future at all. Like, they don't need to trade Keldon Johnson and Vassell and De'Aaron Fox and 2 first-round picks for Giannis, because I think Giannis's value is out the roof.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to accelerate their timeline for this. However, the basketball product of having Giannis with Wemby would be the greatest front court the NBA has seen in a very long time. I'm splitting hairs on this because I put that question in there, and you could ask me any given day, and I can give you either of those 2 answers.
Mhm.
Right now, my gut is saying no, don't rush the timeline. But if the price is right, if the Bucks drop their price, why not? It's not going to hurt the development of Wemby. Wemby has shown that he can develop through anything. I mean, he was in the Monks, and then he was with KG. Like,
I think part of it also is that the Thunder are so good right now. You're asking the question, is that enough? If you're going to leverage your whole future to win right now, you better be asking, is that enough? And the answer is probably maybe, but if the answer is anything but a resounding yes, why would you give up all of these immensely valuable pieces that you can have for the next 10 years?
they still have a Hawks 2027 first-round pick. They have their own first-round picks. They have the Dallas 2029 best swap, which if things go to shit, like they might, like that could be a good pick. Like, they have a ton of picks vaulted. I think they still have a Pelicans one from DeJounte Murray. Oh, no, my bad. They don't have a Pelicans. I think they might have a Bucks one. They have so many random picks, bro. And I think once Harper develops the off-ball game and Castle continues to develop the off-ball game, he needs to get a consistent 3-point shot. I think the way in which they play on-ball and off-ball will dictate how good this team is, because Castle with the ball in his hands is an incredible playmaker. Harper with the ball in his hands, it might be he already is one of the best rim attacking guards in the NBA statistically, in a small sample size. But man, I was a Mavs fan rooting for the Spurs last night.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like that. Yeah,
It's a cool feeling.
It's a cool feeling.
I was a Celtics
Cool
fan
feeling.
rooting against the Knicks, which is normal.
Which is
Yeah.
normal. Yeah.
That's normally how it goes. Yeah, that's normally how it goes. George, I think you have a segment for us when it comes to Jalen Brunson if we're talking about the Knicks here. If you want to
Yeah.
run us through that, here we go.
So, I gathered a list of about, I don't know, 10 to 12 guards, and after watching Jalen Brunson win the NBA Emirates Cup MVP, I wanted to run through and see who you think is better. So I'll say a name, and you tell me if it's that guy or Jalen Brunson. And we're going off this season, just this season.
Just this season.
Just this season. I mean, we can also open this up to go in general.
Let's
But
do some
I think
guards. Let's do some guards.
let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
First up on the list is Darius Garland.
Brunson's better.
Brunson's better.
I
It's not
would
a question.
agree. Next up, LaMelo Ball.
Brunson's
Better.
Confident.
Confident in that. Same. Tyler Hero.
Brunson's better.
Stephen Curry.
That's a big jump. That is a big jump.
He's only played 18 games this year.
And when he's played, he's been unbelievable.
He's been so good when he's on the floor, though.
Oh, that's
I
not
would-
fair. Dick.
I think maybe the fact that he's only played 18 games with similar numbers lends to the fact that we give it to Jalen Brunson just because of availability. But talent-wise, it's maybe still Stephen Curry.
I mean, Steph is averaging 29 a game right
Yeah.
now.
Like, he's been
I
so
think-
good.
Yeah, when healthy, it's 29, 4-4, with 48% from the field, 41% from three, 5 made threes a game, 91% from the from free throw.
Brunson's at 28.8 points. I think you're right though. He's played more games by 5. We're gonna piss some people off, but I think I'm gonna say Jalen Brunson. If I had to pick an All NBA team, I think I'm having Brunson on my All NBA first team. So I think I'm gonna go with Brunson.
I think if it's off this season, it's obviously I think it's Brunson, but it's hard to not admit that Curry, when healthy, is unbelievable.
He's so good. He's so good.
Another guard who's been playing out of his mind recently, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Jalen Brunson here based off record alone. I think the fact of the matter is the Cleveland Cavaliers have not replicated the success that they had, and I think that Jalen Brunson is the guy.
I agree, both based off record and consistency. Jalen Brunson's pretty much good for it every night. Donovan Mitchell will have 50 one night and then 14 points the next.
Donovan Mitchell is averaging 31, 5, and 5.
Yeah.
With a steal a game on incredible efficiency. I think that
he did not just win the Emirates NBA Cup.
Yeah. You're completely right.
Do you get a ring for winning that?
No, you get a medal.
That's stupid. I don't know what you get.
That is
stupid. Just a blank check.
No. I was thinking it was stupid too, but it's it's the YMCA NBA Emirates Cup medal. I'm not even joking.
That's stupid.
It was pretty cool. They donated some money to the Y.
That's cool.
Next up, Devin Booker.
Yeah, I mean these are just scores. Like if you're looking at their
losing guards in totality,
it's a lot easier to be a high level scorer on a bad team.
But the Suns aren't bad.
The Suns aren't bad. They've actually exceeded expectations. I think Brunson's still a better player. His averages are better this year. Yeah, I think Brunson's a better player than Devin
Booker. Tyrese Maxey.
Same. I have Brunson over Maxey. That Philadelphia team is disappointing to me.
Maxey's been
They're disappointing, but Tyrese Maxey has been a bright spot this year. I mean, he's been so good.
Okay.
32 points a game.
I mean, you're shifting the focus from Joel Embiid to yourself. I mean, they're not good, but he's averaging 32 and 7.
Crazy good efficiency. 47% from the field and 39%
from three.
Jack, I'll leave it up to you. I'll leave it up to you
say
if you want.
As a player, not necessarily as a team member, but as a player right now, Tyrese Maxey's better.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're keeping Tyrese Maxey right now.
Cade Cunningham.
See, that just again, you're killing me right now. These are the best players in the league.
I think Cade Cunningham is a better player all around than Jalen Brunson is. And he's contributing to winning basketball.
I don't think you can. I don't think that you can have the argument that you just had about Tyrese Maxey's stats and keep Cade Cunningham. I think if you're doing it solely on statistics alone, Maxey averages 4 more points and 2 less assists a game than Cade.
But you're not.
I think you're not Tyrese.
Are we keeping? Is it are we still comparing to Jalen Brunson, or are we comparing to Tyrese Maxey now?
You're comparing to Jalen Brunson.
I think he's better than Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
I'll keep Cade Cunningham. I think he's too.
I agree with your point though, Alex.
Yeah. My bad. I should have clarified that.
Okay.
Luka versus Jalen Brunson.
I'm taking Luka because he is Luka.
Yeah, me too.
Tyrese Halliburton when healthy.
Jalen Brunson's better than Tyrese.
Yeah. De'Aaron Fox.
Brunson's better.
You really did a bell curve here. You had
bad
ones, all the best ones, crazy. Right back down to bad ones. I thought it was building to something.
Curry, Donovan Mitchell, Cunningham, Maxey, all the guys that top 4 or 5 guards in the NBA.
Emmanuel Quickly.
Kyrie Irving.
Brunson's
taking
better.
Brunson.
And then last one was for shits and giggles, SGA.
Yeah, SGA is the best player in the league outside of Jokic. So
when it comes down to it, with regarding Jalen Brunson, I think this is his peak. He is in his peak right now in terms of this is the best way to maximize his basketball talent. Offensively, he's unbelievable. Defensively, you didn't even get to see it a ton last night because they didn't even attack him a ton. They attacked Cat.
Mhm.
Like, he's not a good defender. And that's why I would agree with the Cade one. Maxey is hard. I would edge it out to Maxey. I mean, I thought y'all did the correct thing there. Because that's really the tough conversation. Because I was making a list the other day when I was on the plane of who are the top 25 players in the league. And I couldn't find a way in my head to put Maxey, Cunningham, Booker, Mitchell, and Curry, and Kyrie and Jalen Brunson in an order that I felt comfortable with. Because it's basically, what kind of ice cream do you like? Which flavor do you like? Because they're all incredible. There's 2 tiers of guards in the NBA right now. It's
Mhm.
Luka, SGA, and then this second tier of those guys I just listed.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd
Let's
agree with that.
finish this episode out by everyone just shouting out a random guy that they're messing with in the NBA right now. I'm going to go first because mine's obvious. Jordan Walsh effect. Jordan Walsh has been phenomenal for the Celtics. Shout out Jordan Walsh.
Dude,
Yeah.
you know where Jordan Walsh is from?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
You've mentioned this many times to me.
He's from Dallas.
Is he really?
Yeah. He switched schools for his senior year though.
I didn't know
Was,
that. All right, George, give me a role player that you've been loving this year.
So I have a couple. I'm gonna go with a Maverick first. Ryan Nembhard. I've been loving him.
Of course.
Makes it so
Good
much more
pick.
fun to watch.
Good pick. All right, I'm going to wrap us up with a guy who played last night, Luke Cornett of the San Antonio Spurs. He's a
shout out.
fantastic off the bench piece. He gives you some good defense. He can be a lob threat when Victor Wembanyama is not on the floor. Yeah, I mean, he's only like missed 2 of his last 20 shots apparently. Like that's like one of the stats that's being said around because all he has to do is catch lobs and dunk. But he's a great rim protector. We knew that with him on the Celtics last season, and I think he's fit seamlessly into a role with the San Antonio Spurs team.
As much as I hated to see him leave the Celtics, it's going to be pretty good to see him getting some recognition from the rest of the league.
Dude, he was unbelievable. He might have been the Spurs' best player last night.
Yeah, he was good. Good player.
He was really good.
All right, well,
do you have another one you want to give a shout to, George? Or
I did have one.
All right, we can go back around. I'll give you one more.
Okay. I was thinking about this, and Grayson Allen, dude, has been unbelievable this season. I mean,
yeah,
the little shove on Chet, I loved it, but that's because I love him as a player. But 18 points a game, just lighting it up. It feels a little vintage right now. Feels a little vintage.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I don't have another one off the top of my head. I'm thinking guys like T.J. McConnell and Marvin Bagley, who are both on bad teams. So like, I don't know if you can be like, oh, they're great role players right now, but watching them have a bit of a career resurgence for Marvin Bagley in particular, like that's been pretty cool to see.
I got
cool.
to give some love to Dante DiVincenzo, averaging 14, 4, and 4 this season on good efficiencies.
Nice.
So shout out to him. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for listening. We'll be back, I believe, next week with another episode. But until then, as always, thank you for listening. I'm Jack Byrne. This has been The Corner Office.
I'm Alex Fenders.
I'm George Chenender.
Corner 3.
Corner 3.